And in the top right-hand side, we will be starting the day off. Well, not the day, but this series. The day on Korea off, I guess. With the rare blue zerg player in the top right corner of the map. This is Rogue. He's opening up in this best of 3 against the red Terran in the bottom left corner, ByuN. And this is another best of 3, and then after this, guys, we'll be heading into a best of 5 winners match, a best of 5 elimination match, and the best of 5 decider match. So best of 3 and 3 more best of 5s to go StarCraft 2 wise today. And then, if you're an RTS fan, we're going to be checking out Tempest Rising's campaign. That's a new RTS that's just releasing early access starting today, or not early access as in like actual early access, but like you can play the game 7 days early with the deluxe edition today, and then we can play it properly in 7 days if you are just going to purchase it regularly. So that is coming up today. We'll be doing that at the end of the StarCraft 2, so it's a full-on RTS kind of day, though. You know, sometimes when you do the sponsors, they're not always RTS related, right? But today, like I say, today is a proper RTS day, so... A proper RTS day. Don't you just love to hear it? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Game number 1 of this best of 3. How does it compare to Stormgate? I've got no idea. I've not played it yet. I haven't really played much Stormgate either, at least recently either, to be fair, so... Yeah, I don't actually know. It'll be fun to figure it out together. I would presume. And if it's not fun to figure out together, then I'm gonna be sad, because I'm looking forward to playing it. What's the new RTS game called? Tempest Rising. I'll give you the link in the chat if you want to go check it out. If you are interested, go through the link, because there is a Wardy specific link, so they see that you go through me. And obviously that means that they can look and be like, whoa, it's really worth sponsoring this guy. And then they sponsor us for more stuff in the future, and then we get more then we get more money. And you know what we do with more money, guys? That's right, we start working on the down payment for the 4th WardiTV yacht party. No, I mean we put more StarCraft 2 tournaments on. Yes, we do more StarCraft 2 tournaments, so yes. I love that. I'm going to shoot a few times. A couple of spores are going to get placed. Queen going to come around. Just like the pay to get early access thing they're doing. Unfortunately, that's just every game nowadays, no? Pretty much everything is you can pay extra money to access the game earlier. I like it. I feel like every game. Not every game, obviously, but like this is just becoming a very agreed upon thing in the... Yeah, very agreed upon thing in the world of gaming, it seems. Wouldn't say every game. No, obviously not every game, but you hear about it a lot, right? I hear about it at least. There's a couple of queens going to be stepping through. Reaper is going to be then a couple of SCVs on the way up. Just that one Reaper from ByuN, as he uses it as a way to get established here in the early stages. Get up and running. Not something to be encouraged. I think the problem is that if it didn't work, people would just, you know, they wouldn't do it. The problem is some people pay for it. It's the same as advertising, right? People hate ads, but unfortunately ads work, so... and you can hate them, but they work, so you're gonna keep on seeing ads, right? Like, that's kind of the duality of man in a way. Some people will hate it, but it's effective, and hence here we are. I'm interested in turn-based strategy games as well. Honestly, I don't play a lot of games in general. Sometimes I enjoy some turn-based strategy stuff, though. It really depends. My problem is I really struggle to play a lot of single-player games. Like, I'm not a single-player campaign kind of guy usually. Like, you know, because usually what happens when I play a game is I'll play it for like 2 or 3 hours. I'm like, oh, cool, this is how this game works. And then I'll go back to the next day and play for an hour. I'm like, okay, it's more kind of doing the same of how the game works, so but you get like an extra tool or so here and there. And then I'm very content to the point where I'm like, I don't really feel like I need to go back to that. Like, I saw what that game was about. The story, you know, stories don't really grip me or keep me going back either, so it's very rare that I finish a game. I can't even think of the last game that I finished, honestly. Full Hellions the Reaper gathering together. More like Civ. Oh no, I was never into Civ. I mean, same thing. Like Civ was a little bit too long. I got a little bit too bored. It doesn't hit my interest at all. There's a few Hellions the Reaper just going to be gathering up. The roaches are on the way, as that's going to be Rogue's game plan here for the early stages. I'm just going to stem up over that right side. Hatch is going to take some damage. The Roach is going to be there. One more missiles and the Roach be continue to come about. I'm just going to be seeing the couple Queens going to be there as the Marines unload into the main. Nice drop denial though from Rogue, who continues to just spam Roaches. He's going to send it off of the 64 drone count, so ByuN kind of needs to be ready for that. Let's see how his preparation is going. Queen step forward, one Queen goes down. Going to be seeing the second Queen taking damage, a few drones pull in. I mean, here I go with the Roaches across the map. The third base is unprotected completely, so there's just no defense there at all. The first siege tank gets jumped on, but it does involve going very close to these Marines. I think ByuN's just dead. I don't think he was really prepped at all for this Roach Ravager army. It's very committed from Rogue, and there was like no bunker in sight, only a single siege tank that was way too exposed. GG's as Rogue takes game number 1 of the. In my head, I'm like, I'm very good at organizing things, so I'm like, no problem, and I'm sure it's going to devolve into absolute chaos. So. Yeah. Alright, game number 2 of this best of 3. As we have in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg player who is up 1-0. This is Rogue. Gun on the top right, down the game, just was not ready for that Roach Ravager attack in the previous one. The preparation was just non-existent, quite frankly, so the scouting wasn't there. The drop got denied, and he was just the one tank that was there, like I say, was in a very bad position, quite frankly. And, like I say, a little bit of a brutal opening game for ByuN. Quick way to be down a map, unfortunately for him, but that is the power of the Roach Ravager timing. You gotta be very ready to deal with those. You gotta be prepped, otherwise they hit hard. Why does Ellie fit into the wedding? That's a great question. We don't really know yet. She's only allowed to be there for the ceremony. So the TLDR that probably happens with Ellie is that Ellie shows up. Oh no, Ellie gets dropped off at daycare. Ellie's daycare hopefully comes and drops her off for the ceremony. We then proceed to have Ellie there for the ceremony and hope she doesn't bark at everyone and get too excited. And for a few photos. And then hopefully Ellie's daycare comes and picks Ellie back up and takes her back to daycare for the rest of the day and the night. As that Reaper will fire, Ling's going to take some damage. A couple other Lings stepping through as the Reaper continues to step backward for a few moments. So again, doing a reasonable job of that for now. As you have the drones and the link speed continuing up. If it gets turned around again. Hey, Wardy, what is with Reno? What would you like to know about Reno? I don't know what I can tell you. He's, I mean, there's been, until the EWC announcement, there's been no reason to play StarCraft 2 if you don't want to play in online cups, so he's not been playing StarCraft 2. So I believe he's starting to ladder a little bit more again now and play a little bit more because obviously EWC is announced, but like I said, as far as I'm aware, he's just been doing his own thing. Like I said, no reason to play the game if you're not going to play the online stuff, right? Same with Maru. Just hasn't practiced for a pretty significant amount of time now. Waiting to see what happens, just taking a break. Has no inspiration to play the Open Cups or whatever. You just watched him versus Shin. He's just streaming this morning. Yeah, I feel like he has been streaming a little bit. I saw him streaming the other day as well. So there you go. Yeah, he's starting to stream some more StarCraft again. Sprint's gonna get there. The Overlord will go down. A bit of a crap. You're so sad, but you want to play the E regionals. Now you're 16. They're gone. Actually scammed. Oh, that is sad. Fear not. The WardiTV European League is coming. It's probably not going to be the same at all, but we can pretend. Wouldn't it be better to maintain your skill level? That really depends. Like, that depends on whether you think you can get back to your skill level or not, right? The thing is, Reno will maintain... The thing is, nobody maintains the absolute highest skill level, right? Like, Clem, Hero, are not playing their absolute best StarCraft 2 right now. You know, they haven't been for a while. Because maintaining that absolute upper echelon level is just so difficult. Like, you just don't do that. Typically, players really ramp it up for big events. That's why if you host another tournament around, like, one of the big events, it's really good. It's like why some of the WTL playoffs have been really sick, because some of the WTL playoffs happen just after, like, a World Cup or other things. And then it's like, everyone's, like, really well practiced, and so all the games are super sick. It's just extremely difficult. It's actually part of the reason I think it's really nice to still have a bigger StarCraft 2 tournament, because people will go overtime in prepping. I'm sure if Reynolds starts playing again over the next month, he'll find himself back to that sort of skill level which the others are at right now, and then you kind of ramp it up to try and get as good as you possibly can in time for the biggest one, right? So, yeah, I'm sure it's coming. Medevacs come down, Marines as well. The thing is, as well, is like, it's much more focused practice as well, right? Like, right now, everyone's just kind of playing along, you keep your mechanics up, you try a couple of different builds here and there. But when it comes to the point of, like, you know, an EWC level event, everyone is perfecting things. They're figuring out exactly what sort of openings they want to do. They want exact responses based on tendencies of players at this point in time. They want to break away from tendencies so they're not readable. You know, the scouting gets to be, you know, a whole new level as well that you don't typically see. It's a different level of StarCraft 2. The thing is, as well, is that obviously players need the other players to kind of keep rising up as well. So when everyone has that same purpose and same time frame to be better for, you know, everyone then helps each other get better. Because if you are improving, your opponents will naturally improve as well. So it kind of comes in waves. And obviously it's very easy to actually get to the absolute best you can be when there's much more motivation versus a weekly cup that's going to be here again next week if you screw up this one, you know? So, yeah. StarCraft 2 is, I think, a really fascinating game for that. It really is. Like, you can see it. Like, every year, Katowice, the reason Katowice is so good is because Katowice was always a premier event at the highest of highs. Everyone wanted to win it. No one slacked for that tournament. No one showed up at Katowice as like, oh, yeah, I was a bit out of shape, you know, I hadn't been feeling it recently, so I just thought I'd show up and, you know, be happy with a good group stage. Like, everyone goes to Katowice to win, you know? No one goes to Katowice and thinks, we'll see what happens. So the games are always super freaking good because everyone's like so well practiced. Hero switching up his playstyle completely for EWC was sick. Yeah. Exactly, like it's that's why the big events are so good in StarCraft 2, because they really have their own they really do have storylines and they really do bring the best of players. Not really talk much about this TvZ, but ByuN is starting to push out as we do have a Rogue with a good amount of creep spread. He's on his way to the Lurker Den, so he's getting pretty comfortably set up for the moment, I would say. He's going to be seeing if he can hold on against this big ByuN army. He's going to lose his 5th hatchery pretty easily. ByuN taking a 4th base during this as well, so that is also on the way up and happening as the Marines and the Hellbats begin to pull back just a little bit. When are EWC qualifiers? We don't know yet. They haven't announced it. Just going to see those few Marines stepping forward as well. The Hellbat going to be there. The few extra Lurkers are continuing through. The +2 Carapace coming up also. So counterattack, getting a little bit of work done as well. Couple of Yanks and a couple of Marines going to be there. The Zergling's taking damage also. Just getting some work done. A few Marines will unload toward this hatchery as we continue to get that up and running here. As a couple of Lurkers are going to get burrowed up as well. And getting the Viper continue to come around. So the Viper gets going. A couple of Lurkers set up for the moment. The additional Zerglings on the way through. Those 2 upgrades from ByuN are really not far from being finished here. And as they complete, we will have ourselves an even more powerful Terran army. He's getting to those ghosts with the Lurkers out. Rogue has obviously improved his army composition to a very good stage as well. Lurker army is always going to be well respected for Zerg. As these lanes counterattacking once more, there's just a lot of units here to really deal with the counterattack, so we're not going to get that much out of it, unfortunately. Would have liked to have seen, obviously, maybe another tank or so go down, but I mean, if nothing else, Rogue is trying to keep the opposition busy right here. He's trying to keep things moving as best he can as well. Let's have ourselves. The Marine's going to come across. A couple of drones going down. The creep spread will start to get cleaned up here also over these next few moments. As we step up the ramp, but the Lurkers will be there. And ByuN did step away just about in time to make sure that that was not a complete disaster. That really could have been horrendous. Lurker's going to be hitting those SCVs. Just going to be having the adrenal gland still coming online. Burrow coming up. Again, +3 Carapace coming through too. 7 SCVs going down will be it for the moment. Let the abducts obviously get those Lurkers into play, get those tanks shot down as well, put some work in on those nice and early. And we do see the rest of that bio army still setting up over towards a set of rocks here as well. Continue to gather together for now. 3 upgrades coming through. Libera's Ghost Tank building as well. We just got ourselves the Planetary Fortress coming through. Have a couple of Orbitals. Have the CCs on. The Ling on the counter once more. And gets a Siege Tank. Actually gets a Ghost as well, which is not bad. I don't think the Ghost is necessarily a guaranteed pick-off in that scenario. So nice to actually see the Ghost getting jumped on a little bit there. Mines are going to step up as well as they try and be part of this defense. A few Marines try to drop across to the other side, but not going to get very far. The medevac will at least get through, but needs to be careful. Obviously, with Vipers out, the medevac could get abducted into trouble. The Lurkers get burrowed again here. ByuN is going to scan again. He's going to keep on trying to fight this. A few Hellbats just from earlier in the front trying to do some of the tanking, but he's going to lose this fight, especially as reinforcements showed up. He only killed 2 of the Lurkers as well, so not even sure how worth it was for him to really stick around and try to make that into something at the end of the day. We continue the pressure from Rogue, who puts pressure onto that gold base, would really like ByuN's mining to stop on that position if at all possible. He is hitting a few SCVs from afar, but the tanks come forward as well, and they will be able to siege out the lurkers. And so for the moment, we have to back this up, and it might just be worth looking elsewhere, because a lot of defense is put on this gold right now. So maybe that opens up opportunities around the map for you to go and be aggressive on instead. Definitely feels like a reasonable possibility or assumption. Well, Vipers will just consume up on these evolution chambers, so we get that energy back onto them. Again, 2 Niduses on the way up as well. 17 Overlords in production. Rogue ready to mass the Overseers overhead, apparently, so no messing around for him on that one. He is just going to full send. The Marines is going to set in this mineral line, but they just about pick up. I thought the Banes were going to connect, but he saves them, so again, just being annoying as possible. And there's Niduses coming about. A couple spores are going to spread over. They're going to try and see what they can get to as well. He pulls back to the center. So got +3 missile upgrade coming through. Getting a couple of tanks, the CCs, the armory. Bit of everything coming in right now. How many ghosts are there? 17 ghosts on the map. Actually, pretty much only ghost tank. There's very little other bio units in play currently, so it's an interesting comp, as we do have the Overseer mass sitting here, the Rogue Special. Snipe and the Queens go down. Overseer flying through. The rest of the bio army going to come across as well. Again, the fusion core building, factories coming online. Those changelings are going to get blasted by the siege tanks. The +3 melee upgrade coming about as well. Bunch of extra lings. 15 more overlords again. It is truly ridiculous the amount of overseers that we try and build in this situation as Rogue. Rogue's slowly just taking over the map, but obviously ByuN likes these positions a lot of the time. He gets in these positions a good amount, where you basically just set up across the board with, you got a lot of bases, you're playing very defensively, you're not going to give a lot of opportunity to your opponent. So that is a lot of what we're seeing right now. Is you see our Lurkers and our Bane's going to come across over the other side here, so they're already going to come running in there looking for their first chance to maybe make something happen at the moment, as we just have ourselves. Again, still the advanced ballistics and so coming through, so we're going to continue to double down on the Liberators currently. Goat's going to go after the hatchery. Let's continue to put some work in. The Ling's going to come across, and they're going to get a wrap around on those ghosts. 2, 3 ghosts going down straight away. Why so many Overseers? It's very hard to snipe Lurkers if you have Overseers over the top of all of them. And you can send waves of changelings forward, which can be just a little nuisance as well. So yeah, it basically protects your army from being clicked by the spellcasters, which specifically need to click specific units, aka the ghosts sniping specific units. It just makes their life difficult. And you will never not have protection against the ghosts. It's a little bit overkill for that reasoning, but, you know, take every reason you can to make lots of Overseers, okay? Ghost stepping up, the Nidus network will go down in the back, so just going to see that cleaned up here already. You have our Banes and Lings just going to run into this mineral line. SCV is going to get chased away, 4 of them going down. Missile turret dropping as well, Sense Tower also falling here. The Bane's still smashing through as yeah, Rogue does a decent job of getting rid of a good few of the SCVs with that attack, so definitely finding some success already. Rogue gonna get the double Spire startup. I assume because we're seeing a lot of libs, he's gonna realize he wants Corruptors and upgrades, and he might even make one of these into a Greater Spire as well, so that if he has a lot of Corruptors, eventually he can make a Broodlord switch. if the time arises where that is needed. Right now, this is like Ghost Tank Lib. Corruptor Broodlord is genuinely just a good combination units to start building against this. It gives you very good coverage against what the Terran is building. Should put you into a very reasonable spot overall. Number of siege up again. Keeping an eye on things. Just have ourselves the tank. Gonna go and pick off that Nidus. You're gonna keep on dealing with these Niduses all game long, otherwise you just end up in trouble here as ByuN, so can't let those Niduses get out of hand. 100% something you have to, like I say, keep a check on at this point. Good round of snipes, gonna push the Lurkers further back, the Lings, the Bane stepping forward. More of those changelings just drop again. The Ghost of the Tank still building through. 40 additional Zerglings in production as well, as we do have a lot more units getting ready to make their way across the map here. Still just Nidus. It's funny because there's just Liberators on top of these Niduses, so they will kill anything that really comes out of them. Resources lost 14.5k to 19.4. The Overseer mass continues to come overhead. I'm just going to be heading down to the bottom right-hand side. Genuinely curious about these Overseers and how much impact they have. They're expensive, you know. Overseers are not cheap. So, like, this is genuinely a very expensive addition that Rogue makes. We've seen it work before. Made it work against Clem on that, oh, what was that map called in the last map pool? That was freaking huge. The one with the in-base blue gold. I'm completely forgetting, but that map was a game he beat Clem on in a very long game with the Master Overseer. The MP is going down, so the Overseers have no energy. Rogue is going to try and brute force his way through this position at the moment, it seems. Post-Youth, yes, thank you. Post-Youth, that's exactly the map I'm thinking of. Yeah, that was the map I was thinking of for that game. In case you're wondering, it's 47 Overseers on the map. 47. We've only seen 6 killed. Yeah, like I say, they're good times. If Rogue genuinely wants that many Overseers and you can kill them off multiple times as ByuN, it's expensive. They're good targets to take down. It's just, if you're taking those down, you're not putting damage out onto the Lurkers and so on, right? Which is what you may more so be needing to do, actually. 21.5 minutes deep. We have ourselves a Creeper Ghost going to come forward. I mean, I'm worried for ByuN because the Creep is really out there as well. So this is a situation that ByuN has played out of many a time. He somewhat invited this sort of scenario around as well, remember, because, let's face it, he also just, you know, started to lay off the aggression he set up to just take a ton of base. He didn't try and push even harder just to put close to this. But ByuN knew that this was kind of coming at the end of the day. For a siege, you know, obviously you want to try and get rid of some of these bases. If Rogue gets to bind both corners, it becomes very tough for you as the Terran player to trade efficiently enough to make up for that. So that's always a goal of the Zerg. If you can mine one of the bases out that's meant to be the Terrans and they don't get the, you know, return base themselves, the efficiency you can trade with then as the Zerg is insane. You can trade so badly. And what Rogue has done later in this game is he's just built Swarm Hosts as well. I've just noticed the 17 Swarm Hosts on the map. I actually missed those in production. He did this in the TLMC against Spirit, where Spirit set up this turtling style, and once the turtling style was set up, Rogue said, cool, let me do this in the later game. Let me build Swarm Hosts, which are hyper efficient at this stage, so I'm going to control the map, I'm going to have a very strong army, I'm going to have a great harassing force in the form of the Swarm Hosts as well. It's very interesting. Obviously, Swarm Hosts are a little scary, because the issue with Swarm Hosts is always going to be that when you've got Swarm Hosts involved, when they're on cooldown, when their locusts aren't available to fire, they are a big weight of like dead supply. But now Rogue is going to go to a lower drone count and just slowly mine out the final bases, and with that lower drone count can kind of justify having the Swarm Host in play while also still having a good amount of lurkers and other tech units still available. I would say bomb just not enough there to finish up that medevac, as we have had a few good trades in a row here from ByuN. He's 10,000 resources better off in the terms of what's been lost. We do have another Swarm Host attempt, going to get rid of the planetary here on the gold. As we are going to get rid of these medevacs, so these ghosts are abandoned too. There's going to be a nice swing in favor of Rogue. We just talked about, what, 10,000 resource loss difference? Now it's only 7k. So ByuN finally getting a bit too aggressive there as Rogue now builds up the Great Aspire. He has just been working double upgrades up until now. As he starts +3 flyer attacks, he decides Great Aspire instead of the +3 Carapace. And that preps him for the Corruptors against the Liberators, and obviously eventually the Broodlords as well. And again, just using this kind of passive game to be able to afford to get into all of this stuff, which is not typically a guarantee. I mean, Swarm Hosts aren't going to kill stuff every time, but they definitely keep ByuN under pressure, right? They definitely keep ByuN feeling like he has to hold back a fairly significant amount. We'll siege across the board. The the Changeling March will commence. The changes make their way across. Obviously, if you don't deal with the Changelings, there is genuinely a world sometimes where they can hold position and be annoying on your reinforcements and so on too. So you kind of do want to get rid of them. And of course, Rogue's just picking up info as to where units are positioned and so on. As move through that. Again, another wave of Swarm Host going to drop down. This time, actually going to go with the Ling Bane Hydra Lurker. So you're going to use the Swarm Host to hopefully try and absorb some of the damage and give the rest of your units a chance to move forward. The Corruptors in the skies will knock down a bunch of the Liberators. Every Lib will go down bar that final one. And the Corruptors just back it up, content for the moment that they, don't have anything else on the ground right now. We see 10 more Corruptors. I think we're about to build Broods. With those Corruptors being seen, ByuN actually starts up Viking production, so I mean, right now it's 9 ghosts and basically just Liberators. If there was Broodlords on the map to deal with, that's not the most ideal of compositions, so we're going to start getting to a stage where we can maybe try and fix that just a little bit. Another round, man. The Locusts just keep coming. I feel like I've barely finished talking about what happened from the last wave of Locusts, and they're here again. Again, this one maybe not going to be as impactful. Plus 22 drones here as Rogue, but that's going to allow him to have more supply or more space for army. He's re-expanding to the top left, which is where ByuN was pushing, remember, until recently he got pulled back. And like I say, are we ready to make the Broodlord round, or what's the plan? We see Thor's on the way up, so ByuN is reading into the fact that this will be Broodlords. There's just so many Corruptors, it doesn't make sense for it to be much else right now. So ByuN recognizing that. Resources lost here, 38 to 34k. Again, the Swarm Hosts are providing that value, so Rogue will eventually outmine ByuN. He's going to rebuild a few drones now as well. A little bit of micro to help out with the Locusts, make sure they get as little as possible. Like I said, in the skies, it's 4 Vikings, 5 Libs. It's maybe overcommitment with 23 Corruptors, but if you get rid of the air army, then you morph in the Broodlords, right? And that's where we're probably going to feel pretty good about this anyway. We're feeling alright if that comes to be the situation. As the changes move across, we're going to run into the top side again. There's apparently the Corruptors here, so they will just find the Liberators kind of not protecting anything else. There's a lot of SCVs on this base. It's going to be a lot of eco. Plus the planetary should go down as well, so we're going to get a bonus addition as a couple of orbitals will also go down. Corruptors just chase, and remember, Corruptors could also caustic spray if necessary. They can caustic spray down those bases, and yeah, if anything's on the ground, that is an option. When the Corruptors are this high in number, that would be genuinely quite scary to deal with too, as 16 SCVs dead from ByuN, so a good chunk of his economy going down there. Still, I mean, he's denied the bottom right corner base of Rogue, but now Rogue is setting 41k to 40k resources lost. Like, you're not meant to be trading this badly as the Terran player. Like, efficiency being even is not good for you as the Terran. And Rogue just, like ByuN sat back and gave Rogue the map, and then Rogue did something that completely abused that. And like I say, this style of play is fascinating, and it's not the first time we've seen it from Rogue. Again, he used it in the TLMC against Spirit. Super interesting game there. And using it again here against ByuN, and the way that ByuN played it, I think it really does invite this kind of an answer to it as Rogue. I wonder if Rogue keeps using this, I wonder if other Zergs begin to pick this up as an answer to the Turtle Terrans, which can cause them so many issues, you know? Because Turtling Terrans are not an easy thing to deal with, and there's sometimes when you're winning games and you just die because your trades into the defensive Terran is just not good enough. It'd be interesting to see, like I say, if other Zergs actually start picking this up, or what? 15 more Swarm Hosts of all things. Our army is legitimately going to be Swarm Host Corruptor. That's pretty nutty, if you ask me. Swarm Host Corruptor? Nothing else on the map. Is there a world where you can actually get enough Locusts up that's worth it? My concern is that the Locusts keep on getting dealt with pretty well. But maybe if you just have enough of them, even more, maybe that becomes actually somewhat impossible to deal with. Around the Locusts here, we'll see how they do. There's the bottom right little CC going to get chased by Corruptors. But let's watch these Locusts, because I'm genuinely very intrigued to what they can do. This is the problem. They're going to fly in just a few at a time. See, my issue right now is that Rogue has no genuine way to kill this army. Like, there's a very real chance that every wave of Locusts right now just doesn't do anything anymore because of just how strong this army is. That's got to be a concern. Okay, we've actually got some Banelings. I didn't see the Banes before. I wonder if they were just morphing when I was on the unit tab. We might have just added them, but obviously you're going to have to babysit them because they really are necessary. You need these to succeed at the moment. Why did ByuN build Thors? He was anticipating the Broodlord switch because of the Corruptors. And I would imagine if you didn't see Broodlords here as Rogue, he probably would have built some Broodlords. Sorry, if he didn't see the Thors, he would have built some Broodlords as well on a rebuild at some stage. What's Rogue going to do with the rest of his money here? As ByuN, again, has been doing a good job of denying bases top left, by the way, as well, so don't let that go unnoticed. I know we've not been amazing at kind of spotting it, but that has been happening. It is a factor. Drone's currently fighting a siege tank. That is not a very effective trade. Drones do not benefit from attack upgrades, so it is one of the worst trades you can take to fight drones against upgraded army units. We'll just jump into the sky, find an SCV there. The Ghosts will start to do their thing. A couple of Hellbats showing up as well. This is where the Blue Flame Hellbats are very good, just to kind of work through a bunch of this. Locusts will just do again what they can, which is not really that much toward the tail end. 183 army supply currently from Rogue. This is one of those moments where I really wish we could see the resources mined by each player, because we know Rogues had the other bases for a lot of this game, but ByuN is now going to get the bottom right, and mining that location might give him a huge surge. Because at this stage, if you can mine out that position, it's just going to give you a bit more economy and a bit more of a bank that you kind of had run out of at this point. So let's see what we do with these Locusts arrive, and they're going to drop down. Thors can just evacuate into the medevacs. We get rid of a siege tank. And Thor will take some shots, but not go down just yet, so nothing too major on that one. Another round of changelings coming across, as we do see the couple siege tanks continue to produce as well, so we bring all of that up, all of that online. 6 more Cryptumors coming through as well here from Rogue. Get that underway as the Overseer's Banes Lings checking out and moving through. The Ghost's going to come up around the right side. The few Lings are still going to be there, getting an SCV. And another attempt of these Locusts. Even just getting the siege tank feels good. Going to spread out. Gets a Thor. Siege tank going to go low. Doesn't go down. Do we get the other Thor? Not quite. Again, this is where you just want to try and find any unit. Does add up over time. 33 minutes now here on Amygdala so far. Lings will just go onto the rocks. Just going to see the Corruptors overhead. And our Crypt Teamers are going to keep on spreading as the Hellbats continue to come on in to play. Here we go. Looks going to send themselves forward. Just going to be dropping down. Siege tank gets jumped on. You can lift that up into the medevac. There's SCVs repairing it too. Again, the problem right now is that we're almost too Locust focused. Rogue is mining, but he's mining so little that he can't realistically build anything else because anything else is going to be too expensive. I think the Ling Bane can't run in there on its own. The Ling Bane has to run in while the Locusts are tanking. Oh, this is never going to be a fight you can run in with. I mean, I get it. You're afraid. You want to stop the Terran from approaching you. Can Rogue win a fight when ByuN is pushing out like this, I guess, is the question mark. 67 Locusts, by the way, on the map when those spawn up. I guess it's 34 small horse, right? Yeah, so it's 68 and one just died. Here we go. This is better. This is better. We're going to get a couple of the Overseers. Corruptor's getting the medevacs as well, so you cannot do the micro that we've seen previously, which is some of that lift-up micro, saving some of those tech units. So the medevacs actually go down this time, too. Again, the issue that you're facing right now as Rogue is that ByuN had this base, and you didn't mine it out. He's got about another 1,000 minerals. That's going to be pretty much it from ByuN. He doesn't get minerals on the map after that, so he is going to be kind of on a hard cap of minerals. That's great for Rogue, but that extra 1,000 might go a very long way. Like, it really feels like he needs ByuN to be running out of stuff right now, and ByuN is not running out of stuff right now, plain and simple as... Yep, cloaking good as well. I'm just going to use the Locust to hit whatever they can. A couple of siege tanks get microed again. Medevac usage is good. I mean, maybe a fungal or two would be nice. We get to a point here where we're probably going to be quite gas heavy in terms of what's left over from Rogue because he's been so mineral heavy throughout the game. Those Banes are going to roll forward. They're going to turn into the Ghost on the bottom side. Again, don't love that. Don't feel like that was efficient enough. The Locust. No, my goodness. Why would you let them all land on one freaking Hellbat? Oh my goodness. That's so sad, though, as the Overseers are now going to arrive, and the Ghost a little bit out of position. The Locust getting a good fight against the Ghosts. Huge moment as this time the Ghosts were not supported by everything else, and that lack of support is going to show, as that's a major win for Rogue. He just knocked down so much of ByuN's army. ByuN's bank is gone. He has nothing left, and Rogue still has endless swarm hosts available to utilize. That might have been what we were looking for. Oh my goodness. Just letting those Ghosts stand up there, not having everything around. The Overseer's finally being there for the Locust to just hit the Ghost as well. Rogue finding the commitment that he might have needed to seal the deal on this game number 2. Locust popping up one more time. We step over here. Siege tanks already evacuating. It's the Hellbats that have been kind of saving the kind of the Ghosts so far. So again, those Ghosts being away from those Hellbats was very costly. The Locust will just drop. They will just kill whatever they can reach. Rogue probably sees this as a I don't really die unless I pick the fight. And so he's just going to be kind of okay and, you know, seeing a couple of these fights where he is kind of, I don't want to say bullied, but like he just drops down and only kills a couple of things. Like, he's in no rush still. He's actually long distance mining the top left. The bottom right mined out now as well, by the way. ByuN's SCVs are useless. His income is at 0-0. So no more money coming in from ByuN. No more units being added. He has mined out his bases. Rogue still has a base top left and the other one on the 9 o'clock to mine from. But again, right now, he just long distances. He can't afford the hatchery. Let's see, we can go after an orbital here, remove some potential scans and information gathering. There's not a lot of scans left overall, no? Okay, 8 orbitals still is pretty sizable. Rogue looking for the next fight. I mean, this fight's going to decide it because neither player really has any rebuild potential, so it is just going to come down to this. Let's see, Rogue would ideally like to fight on creep, get that little bit of a speed boost to engage through for the most part. It's always going to be nice. Just going to pop half the Locust this time to start scaring this army away. There's an interesting technique as well. Obviously, half the Locust at a time. Maybe not as powerful in terms of sheer numbers, but it gives you more activity on the map more frequently. So there's definitely something to be said about the power of that, being able to kind of more consistently have a Locust threat available, rather than having them all at once and then having that cooldown period where you've got basically 0 ground army. So that is a choice of how you approach this as Rogue. few SCVs, a few mules, top left-hand side, gonna steal a few minerals away. I mean, that is something you shouldn't really be letting happen as Rogue as well. You need to be on top of them possibilities. You do not want to give ByuN any money he doesn't deserve right now. Like, he doesn't deserve that map. And Rogue should have seen that as well, because he will have them creep there, so it might be something he's more aware of in the future. He's actually kind of cornered this army, as we are going to dive in with the round of Locusts. They don't do much. I believe a couple of Banes were there as well. Well, the SCVs went down. Uh-oh, Corruptors are dying. Not that there's much use for the Corruptors anymore. There's nothing in the skies left over at this stage. So the Corruptors don't have much apart from just being kind of like clutter on the map. I mean, if Rogue can mine some minerals, though, he's starting a hatchery. If he gets some minerals, he could build broods. Could you argue broods are good right now? I think you could argue broods would still be pretty okay. I mean, it's just a question of these ghosts. Can these ghosts win you the game? 14 ghosts on the map. The mule's going to get jumped on. Like I say, it's really important to deny these mules. The last thing you want is to actually let ByuN be able to add any unit could potentially be the one that helps ByuN just come over the crest of the hill and be able to win the game. Plus spray on that orbital command, so we will get rid of this. Obviously, Rogue would eventually potentially mine from this base too. If he still kept that base alive and was mining from it, this game is absolutely over. The only reason ByuN has not been 100% dead is because he stopped Rogue mining too much from that base and has kept this in a winnable position because of it. Come back the other way. The Swarm Hosts, a few of them just on the ground already. Again, we're keeping kind of half the Swarm Hosts active at a time, only popping a few here and there. Ideally, you want to try and corner this army so you can actually get the Swarm Host Locust to land and actually get connections and trade. And just drop onto a planetary there for a few moments. ByuN can't repair, so any damage is still permanent damage, even if the planetary fights back and defends itself eventually. Two more Banes being built once more from Rogue. Guys, I will just apologize in advance. We have a minute until the ads autoplay on Twitch. I've done everything I can to delay them, but with a 40-minute game, it's one of the rare occasions I just can't always stop the ads from happening, so apologies in advance if those ads play and this game has not ended. Uh-oh. Swarm Host taking damage. We're going to see a bunch of snipes going down. Locusts do get a couple of ghosts, but the Overseer's just not in position there to give you the actual vision needed initially, and that's painful. For the first time in a long time, you see Swarm Hosts going down. It's now 25 Swarm Hosts remaining. Good plug from a Terran player right there. Good opportunity taken. Some of those Swarm Hosts get knocked down. I mean, it might not be good enough, but it's the kind of move which is like, you may as well make that move right now, because that's kind of what you need to do. You need to knock down Swarm Hosts, so you've got to take those risks. As right now, this is a similar moment where these Swarm Hosts are not available to drop Locusts, and that's one of the issues with having lost some of their numbers. And so we see one more snipe. That Swarm Host doesn't go down. We get a transfuse on it. A few Locusts popped up to scare the ghosts away. Barrack's still floating up in the sky. A few more Locusts popping. Just going to head upwards towards the top. It's one of those very weird moments where I wonder if Rogue regrets some of the Overseers that he made. It's like, if you made 10 less Overseers, you would have just had a little bit more to really be able to rebuild with, you know? Maybe it's a difference maker. But there's Overseers in the sky have again caused clutter, and uh-oh, ghosts! Oh no, they're in trouble, guys! The Banes are connecting as well, and these ghosts are low HP, because obviously we killed all the medevacs, there's never been healing, so eventually that is added up, and the ghosts going down, that's going to be game. We are going to see GG called, and that is going to be Rogue taking game number 2 as he gets one final catch.